this got moved up to the main card. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. If it didn't get moved up to the main card, I was about to say, so they're going to move up Andre Ewell versus Chris Gutierrez to the main card, and we get Jim Miller versus Bobby Green for free. Okay, I'll take that. But, you know, now you're going to have to pay for it. Sorry, folks. So, anyways, Jim Miller, man, this dude is tied with Donald Cerrone for the most, I believe, most fights in UFC. If it's not most fights, it's most wins. Nonetheless, it's a ridiculous amount. Jim Miller at 32-15, and in the UFC, he's 21-14. Incredible, nonetheless. This is a dude who's seen it all, done it all, and Bobby Green knows that. But Bobby Green, 27-11-1, fighting out of Pinnacle MMA. Come on, man, this is going to be a real deal scrap. Now, I want to set the table for this one really quickly, AJ, and I kind of want to get your question. I want to get your opinion on this. There we go. So Bobby Green, right? This dude comes out, generally speaking, as an orthodox fighter, but he notes that he kind of comes out like a quarterback. I don't know why he made that parallel, but he says, I come out like a quarterback and I just give what the defense gives me. You know what I mean? That's how I react, right? So it's not like I have this game plan that I'm sticking to and it just is what it is. I react to whatever you give me. So versus Clay Guida a couple fights ago, started his a 3-fight win streak that Green went on. He came out southpaw just to trick Guida, because they thought that Guida was ready for him in orthodox, so he came out southpaw. Now, my question to you is, facing Jim Miller, who is a southpaw, do you think it would be strategic for him to kind of keep going that way, or just stick to orthodox or switch? How much of that stuff even matters to you?
I mean, I think if anytime you fight somebody who's southpaw, whether you're southpaw or not, it's always challenging just because there's not many out there, so you're not really facing it. So I think, Bobby Green having that talent to switch is one of a good thing going into it, because you always can rely on it. Just like, if this isn't working, well, let's try it from the other side. I'm comfortable that way. This guy is uncomfortable that way. Or at least let's try it, see how it goes. I do think it plays into advantage, being just something that Bobby Green has a little spice extra in there.
Well, that's the thing, man. Bobby Green said that Jim Miller has seen it all, done it all, but he's got a couple things that Jim Miller hasn't quite seen yet. And, Bobby Green's a great talker. He's a fantastic talker. But let's talk about Jim Miller and his 18 submission wins. Let's talk about that for a second. 6 rear naked chokes, 4 arm bars, 3 guillotines, 2 triangles, and 1 knee bar. Almost like he just wanted to put it in that perfect order for you. Now, Bobby Green's no slouch neither. Jim Miller might be a black belt jiu-jitsu, player, right? And a former NCAA Division I wrestler. But Bobby Green, he's a BJJ blue belt, and this dude can hold his own on the ground as well, man. My question to you comes down to this. I think Bobby Green clearly has the advantage on the feet. It's very, very clear. Dude's head movement, distance management, all of that good stuff. I think that's all in Bobby Green's favor. Now, when it goes down to the ground, Jim Miller is a little bit different than Clay Guida, because he got that active guard, and he's going to go for heel hooks, knee bars, arm bars, rear nakeds, all the things that I just noted to you. Now, where do you think this fight's going to take place, ultimately, man? I've been racking my brain, and I really don't know where it's going to go. I think Jim Miller's going to chase the takedown as he normally does, but if, Bobby Green got some good takedown defense. What are your thoughts?
This was actually a very hard fight for me to actually pick out and decide, like, exactly what you said, what's going to happen. Because being a vet of Jim Miller, he knows, like you said, a lot. He sees what's going to do. And I do predict that he's going to have a little bit more go ahead and a little more pressure in the beginning, and let Bobby Green see what happens, try to let him read it, but maybe just overpressure him. Can that happen? Yeah, maybe. As well as Bobby Green could just step back one time and land a big shot, change the tide of the game, and then pressure him from then on out. Now, what's going to happen, I think personally, is like I said, I battled it very, very hard. Now, I do think it's going to be a long chess match, going back and forth, battling the exact whole time. Now, my question to you, Derek, I wanted to ask this. In these kind of fights with Jim Miller, longtime vet that we're seeing against Bobby Green, somebody come up, what does Bobby Green have to do to actually make that star power? Is Jim Miller enough name to put Bobby Green in the top upper echelon? Or as well as, do you want to see Jim Miller become a gatekeeper? Is this one of those defying factors where if he loses this fight or wins this, like, it's just the outcome of this fight, does he become a gatekeeper like we talk about?
Listen, Jim Miller is a tough outing regardless of, you know what I'm saying, what streak he's on, who he's fighting. It does not matter. Jim Miller is always going to be a tough outing, like a Clay Guida. So we talked about Guida being possibly a gatekeeper, but I don't think either of these guys are close enough to the top 15 to be gatekeepers, honestly. Bobby Green, he already noted that he doesn't care about losing. He says that he's in it for the money at this point. It's not about a championship for him. And this is what's the most interesting, man. I'll tell you what Bobby Green needs to do to get that star power. He needs to finish. That's what he needs. leads. And this is the reason why I'm going to spin this whole thing, because this is the reason why I picked who I picked in this one, man. I think that Bobby Green, who has 10 decision wins under his belt, he's lost 7 decisions, he's won 10. Jim Miller, he's won 10 decisions, lost 10 decisions. I think the difference here is that Bobby Green has gotten ripped off on the judges' scorecards before. He knows it. In the Thiago Moises fight, he probably should have won the fight and be on a 4-fight win streak right now. But nonetheless, this is what it comes down to. Bobby Green is content fighting out a decision win because he does not care what anybody thinks about the fight. He'll tell you, you're a nerd. You weren't in there. You don't know. I know. But if you're going out and letting the judges decide, you never really rise to that star power. Usman is like the only one, you know what I mean? Just because he's 50-45 in everybody, you know what I mean? Straight domination. So that's my thoughts on that one. But ultimately, let me give you my pick as well for this one, man, because I think this one, while there's a lot of things to think about, I think that this is the overall edge, man. Optics, the way it looks, I think Bobby Green being on the back foot or being his back against the cage with Jim Miller in the clinch, or, you know, even in the guard with his back on the mat, I just think it's not going to look good, and I think Jim Miller is going to win a decision. That's my thoughts. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think a lot of stuff goes into this exact fight, like you're saying. But personally, I think old dogs are hard to put down, man. And I think Bobby Green is going to go out old school way on just decision piecing it up. And I do think he's going to out edge the old dog in Jim Miller and get the decision win.
And let me actually just add this as kind of a last piece on this, because I talked about this on the betting show, folks. Wednesdays, come tune in. But Jim Miller is a plus, he opened up the week as a plus 205 underdog, and I couldn't quite understand that one. I was like, Bobby Green as a minus 280 favorite. I think this fight is so much closer than what those odds are representing. So much closer. And yes, I agree. I think this one should be more of a pick'em than it should be full out Bobby Green. But hey, man, anything could happen. Folks, tune in for that one, because that will be a very, very good fight.